What's happening, my friends? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Excuse me. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. Mike Rim. Mike Mason. Salute to everyone. And welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. How's everyone doing this afternoon? It's Thursday, pulled back up on a weekend. But you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian. And that's me. Cass Sports, your local neighborhood Boxtorian. Today, the show will be memorable fights. We had Pro Box last night. We're going to touch on that briefly. Just do boxing in the building. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm a little off because I'm on my phone. Had a little laptop issue earlier. Didn't get it resolved, but I hope everything's coming through okay. As you can see, my opening was a little off. But salute to everybody. Today is memorable fights. I got 25 of the most memorable fights of all time. Just Do Boxing, the voice in the building. Salute, Just Do. I know I said it was supposed to be amateur boxing today, but plans must change. We'll do that later. Today I got 25 memorable fights that we're gonna go over. You know, like the Thriller in Manila, Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta 6. Any one of the fights between oh boy, I can't even think of the names, but it'll come to me. Any one of those 3 fights. They had 3 slugfests. It's been a kind of a rough morning. But we're going to get it done, though. I got 25 good fights for you. I got the fight between Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. Remember that one? Got 25 good ones for you. Hope you enjoy them. Yeah, I was trying to think of Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. How could you forget those? Yeah, I got I think it's one. The first fight of that series. Yeah. And, you know, we got the big Friday night fight between AB and Blair the Flair tomorrow. Then we got the big card from Top Right. Headlined by Xander Zayas. Headlined his first card, and Patrick Teixeira. I think Choo was on the card. Bruce Carrington. I know Tiger Johnson's on there. Jahai Tucker. I'm not sure who they're fighting. But yeah, they're all on that card. You know, you see a top ranked card, there's going to be a lot of good young fighters on there because the Bob father got the good young fighters. I think, like I told you yesterday, he signed almost the entire last men's Olympic team, the 2020 team. Well, the Olympics were actually 2021 due to the COVID. Thank you, Miss Cass. You give me that thumbs up telling me that I sound okay on my phone. J Hardcore, hashtag JBT in the building. What's up, J Hardcore? We're talking about some memorable fights today. I know I been saying amateur boxing all week was going to be the subject of today, but the plans were changed. I found these 25 fights that we're going to talk about. 25 of the greatest fights of all time. I told you some of them. And, you know, Carmen Vasilio versus Tony DeMarco, that was a good one, too. We're going to go to the old school and some of the new age fights. Deontay Wilder, Fury. Pick two out of that series. James Corbett and James J. Corbett, John L. Sullivan. Yeah, you got some good ones for you. Yeah. And I got a special guest next week. Going to help me do the profile. It's going to be Max Bayer next week. Going to be a special guest. Did y'all know the special guest? Going to come up on here and help me do the profile because he said he had a lot of information on Max Bayer. Guess who the special guest is? The one and the only William Old School on Rant. Yeah. Old School had told me, he put in the chat, why don't I do a profile on Max Bayer? He said he had a lot of information on him he could give me. So I said, well, why don't you just come up here and do it with me? So that's going to be next Friday. Pending if he gets free from his work, you know. Because he can't get free every day, but, you know. That's the plan. Me and William Old School of Red, my special guest. Okay, yeah. But, of course, this Friday is going to be the Manassas Mauler, Jack Dempsey. He's the profile tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, that Pro Box was something last night. The guy came in on the, I think it was like a 2-week notice replacement and knocked the guy out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was his name? Hernandez? Vladimir Hernandez, yeah. He took the fight on 2 weeks notice and came in there and got the stoppage. Big stoppage, man. Caught him good. Put him out. With 2:59, I think it was the 6th round, like a second left of the round. But the guy didn't beat the count, so, you know, got him up out of there. Yup, Pro Box. A lot of people sleep on their Pro Box, but you see some good stuff on it, you know. Some up-and-coming youngsters try to make it to the big time, and then you get to some of the old guys trying to get back, get one more shot at the big time, you know. Yeah. So Pro Box, everybody is fighting hard, trying to get that shot. I've seen Bomac on there 3 or 4 times. Bomac was on there not last night, but the time before last. 2 weeks ago, yeah. He had one of the fighters. He had the fighter that fought the Ukrainian guy. Bomac's guy stopped him. Yeah, that was one of Bomac's fighters. And of course, he's been on there with Calvin Davis a couple of times, Keyshawn's brother. I don't know if it's Keyshawn's little brother or big brother. Yeah, Mike Hernandez sparked him on 2 weeks' notice. Hernandez took the fight on 2 weeks' notice, man. Yeah, and Hernandez is a well-traveled veteran. Don't have a whole lot of fights, but he's been around the block a couple times. Yeah, he's been in there with some guys, though, man. I think he's been in there with Jesus Ramos, Troy Isley. He's been in there with Truck Simpson. A few more good guys. J-Rock, yeah. Been in there with J-Rock. Yeah, Hernandez been in there with some good fighters. He beat Truck Simpson. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, he was a live dog last night. I mean, of course, everybody thought 2 weeks notice. He's just a replacement and all that, a tune-up. But no, Hernandez didn't get the memo. Mm-mm. Yeah, he was just a replacement for a tune-up. Mm-mm. Hernandez came to win, and he won it. Like Mike Masick said, he sparked him. Guido Stram. Yeah, he was the favorite. but he didn't get the nod. Yeah. But I'm gonna wait like 10, 15 more minutes for a few more people to come in. Like Lonnie Lee, Al Booger. I know they coming. They know I start at 2:30. Lonnie Lee don't get off work till 2:30. And he's here every day faithfully, so it wouldn't be fair to start like 2 and have him miss too much of the show. He might stop coming. Not Lonnie Lee. Lonnie Lee is a faithful supporter, man. Yeah. One of the JBT members of the year. Lonnie Lee. We got a lot of them. Lonnie Lee, Mike Grimm, Mike Masick, Al Booger. I can go on and on and on. Oh yeah, and the Boxing Menu podcast. Plus, get over there and subscribe to that brother, man. And he was on last night. He was showing the press conference. AB and Blair Cobb. Yeah, he got some good stuff over there. Get over there and subscribe to that brother. Because if you had subscribed to him before, he had to start his channel over. So you might have to resubscribe. So yeah. Get over there and subscribe to the Boxing Menu Podcast Plus and check out some of his content, man. He's a big time JBT supporter. Yeah, he rocks with us. I know he's always on my show all the time. Yeah. So get over there and check that brother out. At least subscribe to him. You know, there's Let's Talk Fashion, aka Remo, hashtag JBT. What's up, Let's Talk Fashion? Yeah. We're looking forward to that big the next season starting up. I ain't gonna keep saying how long it is. 4 hours. Yeah, but it's I'm looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. Salute. Let's Talk Fashion. Fire show. Yeah. We got a fashion show. We got a hangout. A boxing hangout. A box story. We got one of the biggest, baddest channels on YouTube, the Rise Podcast. We got the voice of the streets. And we got the baddest man that breaks down a fight in the history of these YouTube streets. Casual's Corner. JBT. Yeah. And we even got a personal trainer in here. Coach Tommy, he trained Ronnie Lott, the Hall of Famer. Okay? That's all JBT. You can't find none of that anywhere else. Anywhere. On none of those big 300 million subscriber channels. They don't have no box story or no fashion channel or personal trainer, a hangout. They don't have none of that. They don't have no voice of the streets, none of that. It's only in the JBT. That's all. And the greatest supporters of all is right here in the JBT. But yeah, today it's going to be memorable fights. And I got some good ones. 25 of them. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take the whole show. Yup. I got a fight that's probably the fastest fight in history. We're going to talk about that. It ended in 11 seconds. Knockout in 11 seconds. Now, there was a women's fight that ended in 7 seconds. It was, I think, Sinisa Estrada. I forgot who she got up out of there. She got somebody out of there in 7 seconds a few years ago. Nah, I think that's probably the record. But for men, it's got to be this 11 seconds. I can't even imagine anybody getting anybody out of it in 11 seconds. It take almost that to come from your corner and get over there to the middle and start the fight. 11 seconds. He must have walked straight out there and bop, knocked the guy out. Wasn't no feeling out. Maybe the other guy was feeling out, but his opponent didn't do no feeling out. 11 seconds. And I got that. It's one of the most memorable fights. 25 of the most memorable fights in the history of our sport, you know. The greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. And we can't get enough of it, of this great sport. It's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. We get a Friday night hangout tomorrow. Yeah, where else can you go in these YouTube streets and find a Friday night hangout at? Nowhere but the JBT. Nowhere but the JBT, man. I'm telling you. If they don't know, they better ask somebody. They will know. Yeah. But yeah, we got that. John King card was like 14 fights. When I was over with the Boxing Menu podcast last night watching the press conference, a few of them got canceled because the people didn't show up. So it's still at least 10 fights. That was a big card, man. And Don can still go. What is him and the Godfather anyway? They the same age. I think they're a few months apart. Don is a few months older than the Godfather, but he can still go, man. Wow. That man talk and he don't even take a breath in between the words. He's just like a motor running. And using those big words like extravagance and fashionabulous and all kinds of stuff Don comes up with. Yeah, Don is an intelligent man too. Very high IQ. Been in this boxing game for a while. Don, I'll put it in perspective, okay? Don King and the Godfather. Now I'm 64 years old, and they were promoting when I was like 9, 10 years old, and they still promoting, both of them, and they in the 90s, and they slowing down a bit. So these young fighters out here nowadays trying to put something over on the Godfather, no, they can't do it, man. Most of these guys dealt with Ali, Sugar Ray, Hagler, Duran, all those guys, man, Holmes, Norton. Before any of these boxers nowadays was even born, Don King and the Godfather was promoting fights, man. Before some of the parents were born, okay? So, come on, man. Don't even think about it. You can't fool with the Godfather or Don King, youngsters. There's D for the win. What's up, D for the win? See, that's why I wait till 2:30, because I told you my people are coming. But we're going to start in about 5 minutes. Salute D for the win in the building. Memorable fights today. I got a bunch of them. I'm on the phone because I had some laptop problems. Didn't get it resolved. I have it resolved by tomorrow. Maybe I need a new one. I should have kept that one I gave out in that contest now. Nah, it's all good. I can afford another one. Miss Cass got plenty of money. If I need a new one, she'll buy me one. She didn't put nothing in there yet. Yeah. But yeah, salute D for the win. Oh, the big time JBT members are in here. D for the win. Let's talk fashion. Jay Hardcore, the founder of the JBT. Just Do Boxing, the voice, the Mike brothers, Mike Mazik and Mike Grimm. I finally got their names right thanks to listening to Jay Hardcore. The Boxing Menu podcast plus in here too, and Miss Cass. But you know, everybody, like I said, let's get over there and subscribe to the Boxing Menu podcast plus, okay? Fire channel. Now you might have subscribed to him before, but he had to start his channel over. That's why it's called plus now. So resubscribe, okay? And get over there and check him out and fire and output. There's Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. What's up, RP? And Freestyle Media Sports in the building. What's up? Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to have you aboard. Memorable fights today. That's what we're going to be talking about over here. Ray Patterson, Freestyle Media Sports. They both been here plenty of times. Yeah. But it's always good to see him. Over here on my growing channel. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay, but it was built. And that's what we're doing. I'm part of the JBT. Can't help but be successful. With like the Hangout, Jay Hardcore, Just Do Boxing, the Mighty Rides podcast pushing me, or pulling me down the road behind them. I'm going to make it. But salute everybody. I appreciate everybody rocking with me today, this Thursday. Pulled up on the weekend. We got Friday night boxing. We had Wednesday night last night, Friday night, big card Saturday. Then the Zayas, I think that's the first card he's headlining, right? against Patrick Teixeira. That's his biggest test to date, definitely by far. And no guarantees and they're going to win this one because Patrick is a stiff test, man. Yeah. And then we got I think isn't Shoot on this card, Bruce Currington? I know Jahai Tucker and Tiger Johnson is. That's what you get on the top right card. Some good young fighters. The ball father has them over there. Like I said, he got almost the entire last Olympic team signed. Keyshawn and all those guys. Tiger. Keyshawn is on somebody's card coming up, right? I think. Somebody told me about it the other day, but I forgot. I'm old. I can't remember now. It might have been Let's Talk Fashion. Yeah. So, any of the news with Boots opponent yet? That's our meet and greet. And yeah, don't forget, 55-inch color TV is on the line. The winner will be announced at the meet and greet. All you have to do is, oh goodness, what happened? Send $10. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I just did. Send $10 to our Cash App. Boy, bear with me for a minute. I must have hit Jay Hardcore's name because I'm looking at his channel for some reason. I'm gonna get it right though. I like you, Jay Hardcore, but I'm not trying to be on your channel right now. I'm trying to see my chat, but it's all good. We're going to get it back together, and then we're going to get started on the show. Oh, it's back. Okay. It's back. We're getting ready to get started. We're going to talk about Pro Box first and what happened last night, real quick, not anything too deep or anything, and then we're going to get started on today's show. Yeah. But anyway, last night on Pro Box, the guy was a replacement. Vladimir Hernandez, right? On 2 weeks' notice, he stepped in because I think SRAM was supposed to fight Butayev. I think it was him, and he had a back injury. So Hernandez stepped in there. Boy, did he step in. He got SRAM up out of there, man. What was the 6th round? Yeah, southpaw from Mexico turned Guido's lights out, man. Yeah, 6th round. And it was like 259. Now, he got up, but he didn't make it. The referee waved it on off. Yeah. Hernandez got him up out of there. Hernandez is now 15-6 with 7 knockouts. That was his 7th knockout. And SRAM dropped to 16. That was his 3rd loss to get 16 wins, 2 draws, and 9 knockouts. Yeah. But the referee, Emil Lombardi, waved it off at 259 of the 6th round. Hernandez got the job done on 2 weeks' notice. And like I said, Hernandez been in there with some guys, man. He beat Truck Simpson. He lost to Troy Oddsley, Jesus Ramos. He's been in there with J-Rock. So yeah, he got some opponents up under his belt. Mm-hmm. And then earlier in the night, we had another fight. It was in the super middleweight division, and it was a couple of prospects. And Abel Gonzalez, he takes his record of 7-05 knockouts. Good early knockout rate, by the way. Yeah, and he made a statement, 1st round stoppage, and he was going up against another unbeaten prospect, Lawrence Reynolds. He dropped to 6-1 with 3 knockouts. Gonzalez got him out of there in 1st round, flattened him with a right hand. And it was like a minute left when he got him up out of there. And Gonzalez is a 2021 National Golden Gloves champion, by the way. And his last 3 opponents have been unbeaten. So he's taken 3 O's in a row. Yeah, but that's what it's all about. 2 young guys getting in there, putting their O's on the line, man. And the loser will take something from the fight. Is still young in his career. Hey, 1 loss does not define you. You've got plenty of time to get back. Yeah. Yeah, Mike said, boy got face planted. Yes, he did. He got face planted. But that was Pro Box last night. That's all I got on it. Let's go to the show today. Okay? Give me a minute to get everything together. I got to get my slide display together and everything. Yeah, I'm on my phone. I hope I sound okay. Miss Cass said I did. She's the executive vice president, so yeah. Yeah, she said I sound okay. I'm gonna get this information up and we're gonna get it going. There we go, right there. I hope the music ain't too loud. That's why I told you I miss Bare Knuckles, because Bare Knuckles would tell me. Bare Knuckles said, sheesh. Turn that down, Cass. Can't even hear myself think. I was trying to turn it down and it went up. I guess that's okay. It's gonna have to be okay. 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 Get to my slide display. Everybody okay this Thursday afternoon? Right up on the weekend. The weekend starts for me on Thursday. Yeah. It's fine. Thank you, Jay Hardcore. Appreciate that. Let's do it. Now, memorable fights. Memorable fights. Now, boxing has brought us countless fights to remember. But, of course, some of them are more memorable than others. Right? No doubt about that. Now, boxing is one of the most famous sports in the world. And some of the most recognized athletes participate in it or participated in it, like Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Mike Tyson. All those guys became legends, not just of boxing, legends of the sports world. Muhammad Ali became one of the most well-known people in the world. Sports, whatever, presidents, movie stars, whatever. Muhammad Ali was one of the most well-known people in the world when he passed away. Now, there have been many excellent fights that have taken place in the past. And these fights have been all about leaving it in the ring. Incredible knockouts, iconic moments, and fighters showing heart for the sport and us fans. And I have all of that in this list and more. So why don't we get started on it? Right? Now, the first fight on the list is Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez. 3. Rafael is the younger brother of Juan Manuel Marquez, okay? Yeah, that's Juan Manuel's little brother. Mm-hmm. Pretty good boxer, too. Yeah. This is the third fight between those two gentlemen. Now, Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez ended up having 4 fights altogether, right? This is, what did I say this was? This is 3 that we're going to talk about today. Oh, man. Excuse me for a minute. My big fingers, man. Okay, yeah. They had 4 fights all together, right? Now, the first fight was intense. Marquez took the win in the first fight, and it was an absolute brawl, okay? Now, the second fight was even better. And by the way, that's Marquez on the left, on the right. Israel on the left, Marquez on the right. Now, the first fight was a brawl, but the second fight was even better than that one. And the second fight won Ring Magazine Fight of the Year. And Vasquez won that one by split decision, okay? So now it's 1-1. Okay? And then after two fantastic fights, everyone was expecting a war in the third fight. And guess what? The third fight also won Fight of the Year and went the entire 12 rounds. And Vasquez got cut earlier. He fought almost the entire fight with cuts on both eyes. And it was another huge brawl. And then Vasquez took this one by split decision. Okay? But three fantastic fights between them. I think they actually had four. But yeah, through the first three, Vasquez took 2 out of 3. And 3 fantastic fights. If you like action, and not necessarily knockouts, they were just brawls. 12 rounds, you know. The next fight is Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson 2, the bite fight. Okay. See, checking Evander's ear. Yeah. The bite fight. But okay. The second fight between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. It's an iconic fight, right? It was originally named as the Sound and Fury before the fight, but after the fight, you know, y'all know the name is the bite fight, right? Went from the Sound and the Fury to the bite fight. And this fight was for the WBA Heavyweight Championship. WBA. Yeah. And this was probably one of the most insane fights in boxing history. Because you know what happened in the third round? Tyson actually bit off part of Holyfield's ear. He didn't just bite him, he bit part of it off. Remember? You see him looking at Evander's ear there. Yeah. And this got Tyson disqualified. And he lost his boxing license. But he did get it reinstated eventually. And it was one of the most bizarre things ever seen in a boxing ring. That's why it's definitely one of the most memorable fights of all time. No question about that. Yeah. Okay, the next one is, go back a little ways. Carmen Basilio against Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah. Now this was a beautiful fight. Sugar Ray was jabbing perfectly throughout the fight. Boxer versus puncher. Okay. Although Sugar Ray could punch too, but you know, he boxed beautiful throughout the fight. And Carmen was pressing him throughout the fight. Like old fights, that's a good one. And Carmen was just pressure the entire fight. And this was Sugar Ray's first fight out of a 3-year retirement. Okay? Yeah. And it was a tough fight to score. But they gave the split decision to Carmen Basilio. And this was for the middleweight title. And this fight ended up with another Fight of the Year. And then they fought again 6 months later. Sugar Ray won the rematch. And they gave him his the fifth middleweight title of his career. Yep. Carmen Basilio, Sugar Ray Robinson. Definitely one of the most memorable fights of all time. Now we go way back. Come on, change. There we go. Jack Johnson versus James Jeffries. Way back there. Okay. Appreciate everybody rocking with me today too. Always a pleasure to see everybody. I look forward to 2 o'clock every day. The highlight of my day is 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. But you know, that's all the hangout shows, you know. But 2 p.m. is one of them. Jack Johnson versus James J. Jeffries. Now, this was one of the most anticipated fights ever at the time, right? It was nicknamed the fight of the century. Okay? Race was very visible in this fight. You know, Johnson was the African American champion, first African American heavyweight champion, white. And white America at the time was unhappy about that. Okay? Just call it is what it is. Yeah, white America was unhappy to have a black heavyweight champion. Because before Johnson, you know, black fighters weren't even allowed to fight for the belt. And at the time he became champion, James J. Jeffries was retired. Okay? But he was talked out of, coerced out of retirement to come back to beat Johnson and take the belt from him. But Johnson didn't get that memo. You know, like Buster didn't get the memo that he was supposed to be a tune-up for Mike Tyson. Johnson didn't get the memo that he was supposed to let Jeffries come back out of retirement and take the championship from him. Johnson battered him to the point that Jeffries' corner stopped the fight. And guess what? Because James Jeffries couldn't take the title back for white America, riots broke out all over the United States after that fight. Yep. That makes that definitely one of the most memorable boxing fights of all time. Jack Johnson versus James J. Jeffries. Okay? Next up is this thing is slow today. Phone is a lot slower than the laptop. Muhammad Ali versus Ken Norton 3. Okay. And by the way, me personally, I don't think they gave Muhammad 2 out of 3, but I don't think he won any of those fights. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT in the building. What's up, T Hill? How are you today? Always good to see Thomas Hill in the building. He gave me my nickname, the Box Story, Thomas Hill. And I love it. Fits like a glove. But salute Thomas Hill. Yeah, Muhammad Ali versus Ken Norton 3. Most memorable fights of all times, T Hill. Okay? There they go on the screen. Muhammad and Ken Norton. They gave this one to Muhammad too. They did a poll. They had 3 newspaper guys at ringside unofficially scoring the fight along with the judges, and all 3 of them gave it to Norton. But the judges gave it to Ali, so that's what counts. Yeah. And this was the 3rd fight between Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton. Now, Norton won the first fight, remember? Sent Ali to the hospital with that broken jaw. Remember that one? And the second fight was much closer. Ali took a very narrow split decision. If any other 3 fights Ali won, that one would be the one you would give to him. But the other 2, no way. So it's 1-1 after the first 2 fights. Okay, then we came to the 3rd one. And this was the, at the time, this was the most money ever offered to a fighter for a fight, which was $6 million going to Ali. Okay, at the time, that was the most a fighter had ever made. You know, of course, $6 million back then is a lot, worth a lot more nowadays. I would calculate it, but I don't have no phone or nothing free since my laptop is broke. But yeah, $6 million at the time was the most ever offered to a fighter. And this 3rd fight was also extremely close. And many boxing fans like me argue about who actually deserved to win it. But after 15 grueling rounds, the judges gave it to Ali. And remember, they had 3 newspaper guys at ringside scoring the fight unofficially, and all 3 of them gave it to Norton. And one of the judges gave it to Norton too, but 2 gave it to Ali, so Ali got the win. But one of the most memorable fights of all time from Yankee Stadium, New York. Yep. Next is Easter. Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera. Okay. And they were 2 Mexican fighters who held the super bantamweight title. Okay. And the first round alone was all action from both fighters. And the first round was pretty even, but it was an indication of what was to come in this fight. The 5th round Morales was assaulting Barrera with right hands until the final minute of the round, when Barrera answered. And the fifth round was the round of the year in that fight. And this was the first fight. Morales won by split decision. And this fight paved the way to one of the best boxing trilogies ever. Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. This was the first fight of their trilogy. And they won Fight of the Year. And the fifth round was round of the year. Okay? Morales won it by very close split decision. Okay, now we go back a ways again. Carmen Basilio versus Tony DeMarco. 2. Okay, this was the second fight of that series. Basilio versus DeMarco 2. The first fight, Basilio took the title from Tony DeMarco, 12-round decision. And the second fight, DeMarco was on a mission to reclaim his title. You know, this was at welterweight, right? DeMarco was on a mission. Round 1 was all DeMarco. In the second round, Basilio broke his left hand. But in the last round, Basilio got a knockdown. And DeMarco managed to get up at the count of 8. And Basilio assaulted him again and knocked DeMarco unconscious to win the fight in the final round. Yeah. So Basilio retained his belt. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao, 2015. And this fight was for the welterweight title, and it was billed the Battle for Greatness. And it broke pay-per-view revenue records in the United States, worth $410 million. Making it the highest grossing pay-per-view fight in history. Okay? $410 million. Woo. Yeah. Marquez versus Pacquiao was T. Hill. Awesome. No question about that. Pacquiao was in a lot of good ones. One where Manuel Marquez, remember? Now, Floyd won the first 3 rounds. And Pacquiao came back pretty good in the 4th. But by the end of the fight, Floyd's defense was just too good for Pacquiao. And Floyd got the unanimous decision. Even though Pacquiao and others thought he won the fight. But no, the judges got it right. But it was still one of the most memorable fights of all time. No question about it. Okay? Had to put these two in there. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, 2. Okay? 2. And this fight was called Unfinished Business. Now, the first fight ended in a very controversial draw because Fury was knocked out. You know, I thought the rules went, you know, if you're unconscious, it gets waved off. You know, the referee don't even have to count. It's over. But that's not how it worked out. And Fury woke up and they called it a draw. So then they had the second fight. They also had a third one, you know. But this was fight number 2. And this was a completely different fight from the first fight because Fury kind of dominated this one. Even though knocked Wilder down 2 times, right? Knocked him down twice. And Wilder's corner ended up throwing in the towel. And this fight was called one of the most impressive, you know, in the modern era for heavyweights. The performance by Tyson Fury. It was a good performance, yeah. One of the most memorable fights of all time. Again, yeah, that's what we're talking about. 25 of the most memorable fights of all times. Okay. Next is James J. Corbett versus John L. Sullivan. Went back a ways. And like I think it was yesterday I was telling you, this was in 1892, right? And, they had photographers around that time, but sometimes they didn't have a photographer at the fight. They would actually have an artist there drawing the action, and that was one of these situations. See the drawing? Yeah. They would have a guy sitting there drawing the action because they didn't have anybody to take the pictures. Mm-hmm. Yeah. James J. Corbett versus John L. Sullivan. This fight was in 1892 for the World Heavyweight Championship. And boxing back then was nothing like it is now. And they were even outlawed in some states back then, in many states at the time. It was outlawed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Corbett won the fight by knocking out Sullivan in the 21st round. Yeah, the 21st round. These fights sometimes go up to like 75 rounds. I got one, I think it's on this list, 110 rounds. Mm-hmm. And the fight would go on, and it would only end until somebody was knocked out and couldn't continue. Okay? Rounds would only end when somebody was knocked down. Wasn't no time limit. When somebody got knocked down, the round would end. And if they couldn't get back up, then the fight would end. But if they got back up, you go over there and get your time in between rounds, and then you come toe the mark and start the next one. This one went 21 rounds. James J. Corbett got the knockout. Yeah, but I knew of a fight that went 110 rounds. Mm-hmm. I think Al Booker told me about that one. Yeah. Yeah. And gloves had just recently been added, because I think, what did I say this one was? 1892. Yeah, gloves were just added around 1889, about 3 years before this fight. Yeah, before then, everything had been bare knuckles. And as a matter of fact, I think John L. Sullivan was the last bare knuckle champion and the first glove champion. But he got knocked out in this one. But yeah, he was the last bare knuckle champion and the first champion of the glove era. John L. Sullivan. Okay. Next is Rocky Marciano versus Jersey Joe. There's Susie Q in action. Yeah. Rocky's first hand was Susie Q. But it was a good fight. Jersey Joe was winning up until the 13th round. But Rocky got that right hand in there on him and ended it. What's up, Lonnie Lee? Lonnie Lee in the building. Salute. Pulling up on another weekend, Lonnie. We getting close. And welcome aboard. Memorable fights today, Lonnie. I know been saying amateur boxing all week, but I changed it, Everything's subject to change. Memorable fights, 25 of them. I think we at number 15. We still got 15 more to go. Mm-hmm. Pulling up on 3 o'clock. This time goes by so fast. But yeah, Rocky Marciano versus Joe Walcott. Yeah, this is one of the fights I always talk about when I'm trying to tell people that say Rocky Marciano was fighting people past their prime. I shoots that down because, this fight right here, a lot of people say Jersey Joe was past his prime. But guess what? Jersey Joe was the heavyweight champion of the world. So if it was past his prime, it wasn't nobody else beating him because he had the heavyweight championship. So Rocky got in there and beat it. So you got to get a man his props. And this fight was so great because of how divided it was before it even started. Like I told you, Walcott was a champion at the time. And he said before the fight that Marciano couldn't fight. Right? And he said that if Rocky beat him, Jersey Joe made the statement to take my name out of the record books as champion, as ever being champion. They didn't do that though, because Rocky did beat him. But it was a lot of talk going back and forth before the fight. Now, Jersey Joe did knock Rocky down for the first time of his career. Okay. I think Rocky went down twice. The other time was Archie Moore later on, but that was the first time by Jersey Joe. And it was like halfway through the fight, about 7 or 8, because it was 15 rounds then. Now, if they had gone to 12 rounds already, Jersey Joe could have won, because when he got knocked out in round 13, he was ahead on all 3 judges' cards at the time. But it was 15 then, unfortunately for Jersey Joe. Okay. Now, by the 7th round, both fighters were cut and had been hurt badly already by the 7th round. And later, Rocky said by the 7th round, he couldn't even see. You know, he was fighting on instinct that early, right? But he got a perfect punch in on Walcott's chin in the round 13 and knocked him out cold to win the fight. And let's see. Yeah, that's it right there. He got Susie Q in there perfectly on his chin. Yeah. Looked like a right cross or something like that, don't it? Mm-hmm. He knocked Jersey Joe's lips over onto the side of his face. That's not where your lips go. They come a little back to the right, don't they? Yeah. But he got the perfect punch in and knocked Jersey Joe out cold. And like I said, Jersey Joe was winning on all 3 judges' cards at the time. But all it takes is one to turn the fight around. And Rocky had that kind of power. That's why he named his right hand Susie Q. Yep. And Susie Q came through that day. Now, one fact about Rocky, in all his title fights, he knocked everybody out that he faced in title fights. Now, he had one title fight that went the distance against Ezra Charles, but guess what? He gave Ezra the rematch and then knocked him out. He didn't have to give Ezra Charles a rematch because Rocky was the champion. So he must have gave him the rematch because he didn't knock him out. And he knocked him out in the second rematch. So everybody faced in title fights, he knocked them out. Rocky Marciano, you know. I get mad when people talk bad about Rocky. Man. He was a small heavyweight, but it was a small era for heavyweights too. And you know, I heard that Rocky, most of his fights, he wasn't even 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. He definitely would be a cruiserweight nowadays. So with Smoking Joe Frazier, they were small heavyweights. It was for guys like that the cruiserweight division was created, because heavyweights, it was created around 1979, 80. Heavyweights were starting to get so big. That's when they were starting to, 6'5", 6'6". Jerry Cooney, 6'7", and it wasn't fair for those little guys right around 200 fighting those big monsters. So they created the cruiserweight division, right? And took heavyweight up to 200. Because heavyweight was, after light heavyweight, 175. Mm-hmm. And you figure somebody weighing 180 in there against one of these big 270-pound monsters. So they said no. And they should do it again. Just look at Saturday's fight, Wilder and Zhang. They should move it up to like 225 at least. I thought they had that Bridger weight, but I don't know too much about that. There was a guy here yesterday, Ernest Johnson, saying that they had it, but I don't know too much about their Bridger weight. But they need to make it more popular or something, because yeah, like Jay said the other day, they say they have weight classes for a reason until they get the heavyweight. Then you got somebody 217 fighting somebody 270. But the next fight is the robbery. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. Yeah, that was definitely a robbery there. Hagler won that fight. Mm-hmm. I saw that one. I saw that one on the closed circuit. Yeah, that was the version of pay-per-view back in the day. You would have watch it on the big screen at theaters, basketball arenas around the country, on college campuses or professional basketball arenas, and you pay a fee to get in and watch it on the big screen. But the thing about pay-per-view now, you can sit home. You had to go out in the public back then and watch it, but now you can sit home in your bedroom or wherever and watch the pay-per-views. Yeah, but I saw Sugar Ray. I think it was at the Baltimore Arena. And Hagler won that fight, man. It was fixed. But anyway, Sugar Ray challenged Hagler to a fight after only having one fight in 5 years, right? So going into it, it seemed like an easy win for Hagler, you know? And it was big money involved in this fight, you know, for both of the competitors, yeah. But Sugar Ray took the first couple of rounds because guess what? Hagler never did this before. Hagler southpaw, he came out and fought orthodox in the first 2 rounds and he lost both of them. And that's what cost him the fight because it was a razor thin split decision, man. If Hagler hadn't came out and fought those first 2 rounds as a southpaw, he probably wins the fight. Yeah, it really cost him. But he did that and Sugar Ray took both rounds on all judges' cards. And he finished the fight off by boxing smartly, stealing rounds. Sugar Ray had told Angelo Dundee to, when it was like 30, 40 seconds left for each round, holler out, let him know. And he stole a whole bunch of rounds at the end. And it was a huge upset. Nobody expected it. But Sugar Ray took the split decision. And Hagler never fought again after that. And I told you the backstory to that, but I'm going to tell you again. This was a duck, man. And I love Sugar Ray Leonard, but this was a duck because Hagler tried to get the rematch, but right after that fight, Sugar Ray Leonard retired. And Hagler waited 14 months. And Sugar Ray was adamant about being retired. So Hagler, after 14 months, Hagler gave up, said, I'm retiring. Guess what? A month later, Sugar Ray came out of retirement. If that ain't a duck, there's no such thing as a duck, man. I love Sugar Ray Leonard, one of my favorite fighters, but he ducked that second fight with Hagler. No question about it. Yeah. The man waited 14 months. But what Hagler should have did was, when he retired and Sugar Ray came back a month later, Hagler should have came back and see what Sugar Ray would have done. He probably would have retired again because he did not want to get back in there with Hagler. He did not. And so he ducked it. Okay. But enough of that. The next one, this is the 11-second fight here. Did it change? Yeah, that's it. You can't see the guy on the mat because of my stuff, but it's a guy laying behind the Cash Sports the Box story and memorable fights. This was Zolani Tite, I guess that's right, versus Siboniso Ganya, okay? Now this fight set a world record, okay? It was for the WBO Bantamweight title. And Tete, that's his name, he was defending. And it's not too much to say about the fight because it didn't last long at all, right? But it lasted only 11 seconds. Tete knocked out Siboniso. Wait a minute. Hold on. Excuse me for a second. This is what I'll do. This is a short name that I swear I don't know what the hell it is. Tete. How the hell do you pronounce that, anybody? There it is. Okay. That's his last name. The champ. Tete. But anyway, he knocked this Ganya out in 11 seconds. And it was the first punch of the fight that he threw. He knocked the man out with the first punch that he threw in the fight, okay? Yeah, in 11 seconds, set the record. Now, there is a women's fight. Sinisa Estrada got some lady out of there in 7 seconds. I can't remember, I'm gonna have to look that up. But for the men, this was the record. And it was after this. This was the record at that time, 11 seconds. Yeah, definitely one of the most memorable fights of all time. He knocked the guy out with the first punch he threw of the fight. Yeah, incredible. Yeah. Okay. It's raining hard up here on the planet Baltimore. Wow. Okay, the next one is Joe Louis versus Billy Conn. And Billy Conn really gave, I talked about this when I talked about something last week, remember? He really gave Joe Louis a tough fight, Billy Conn did, yeah. And at this point in time, Joe Louis was the heavyweight world champion, and he was in the middle of that 25 straight title defenses. He was on 17. He had defended it 17 times up to this point, okay? And it took the first 2 rounds against Khan. But in the 3rd round, Khan showed he wasn't there just to lay down. Billy Khan was there to fight, man. Yeah. And for the first time ever, he had Joe Louis backing up, and he was noticeably hurt, right? And Louis came back with a right that day's Khan. And he finished him off with some perfect power punches to win the fight. But it was one of the, I think it was like the 13th round, but it was one of the most intense fights in history. Very good fight. One of Joe Louis's tougher fights. And that was the first time Khan had ever been stopped, too. Very good fight. Joe Louis versus Billy Khan. Yeah, that's the Joe Louis fight. If you like old Joe Louis fights, that's one to watch right there. Next one is the legendary No Mas fight. There it is. No Mas. Not yet, but that was the Bolo punch. And Sugar Ray closed that distance fast and caught it with that left hand. Yeah. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran 2. Now, originally going into the fight, it was called the Super Fight. But after the fight, it was called No Mas. Yeah. And this was the second of 3 fights between these 2 guys. Okay? Duran won the first one, Sugar Ray won the second and third. And by the way, Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran, it was 9 fights in the 4 Kings series. Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran fought the first one, and Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran fought the last fight in the 4 Kings series. Duran won the first fight by unanimous decision, and he took the welterweight title from Leonard, okay? But he was fighting a losing battle from the jump in this fight because, you know, the man Sugar Ray Leonard, it was in New Orleans, the Superdome, and the man Sugar Ray Leonard was named after sung the national anthem, Ray Charles. So Duran didn't know it at the time, but he was up against a stacked deck, you know. And Leonard started to tease him in the middle rounds and outboxed him thoroughly throughout the fight. And then came the 8th round. At the end of the 8th round, Duran just waved his glove and walked away and said no mas to the referee, which means no more. And Leonard won by TKO, 8-round TKO. Duran just walked away, said no more. Now he disputed he said that, but the referee said he said it. The referee don't have no reason to lie, right? So I think he said it. Now we go way back again. Oh, this is the fight I was talking about. This is, I wish Al Booker was in it. This is the one he told me about. Andy Bowen versus Jack Burke. This is way back. Not too good of a picture. This is the best one I could find. That's Andy Bowen on the left and Jack Burke on the right. Okay. This fight lasted 110 rounds. Broke a record. 110 rounds. The longest fight in history. Still to this day. Well, we're never going to get, you know, even a fight potentially to go that far now because we have limit rounds, 12 round limits and stuff now, but 110 rounds, right? The longest fight in history. It was for the lightweight title of the South. You know, that's how it was back then. We didn't have a whole bunch of sanctioning bodies, so certain states had their titles, like New York State title, California, even Mexico had a title. Or the South, the North, and this was for the lightweight title of the South. And guess what? It started on a Thursday evening, and it didn't end until Friday evening. 110 rounds. Yep. They went all night Thursday and all day Friday fighting. Burke broke both of his hands during the fight, and both fighters lost about nearly 10 pounds by the end of it. Incredible. Incredible. And it ended in a draw. The referee just stopped it. The referee said, I'm hungry, man. I gotta go eat. You know, it started Thursday, it didn't until Friday. So the referee said, nah, This is enough. Because neither one of the fighters would give up. So the referee had to step in and stop it. Yeah. 110 rounds. The next one is Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearn. That 3-round fight that won Fight of the Year. Round 1 round of the year. Incredible fight. Many people believe that this is the best middleweight fight in boxing history. And the first round was just 3 minutes of non-stop action. Both fighters were hurt in the first round. Hearns broke his hand, and they both showed incredible heart and gave a big show. Just the first round, which was round of the year. And the fight is remembered as, it's called 8 Minutes of Fury. Okay? It's an iconic fight for fans. Now, Hagler won the round by a 3rd round knockout. He won the fight by a 3rd round knockout. And of course, like I told you, it was Fight of the Year in 1985. And it only lasted 3 rounds. They'll tell you right there about that fight. When the last time you seen a 3-round fight be Fight of the Year? Now, George Foreman and Ron Lyle in 1975, I believe, was Fight of the Year, was 5 rounds. So another one like this. That's an iconic fight. Yeah, 3 rounds. Fight of the Year. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back a little ways. Sugar Ray Robinson versus Jake LaMotta, 6. The final fight in the series, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That's what this fight was called. Jake just got beat up for 13 rounds, but he did not go down. Both of these guys are legendary fighters. And all 6 fights was a show for the fans. 6 times. And the last one was the most memorable one. Okay? Full-on assault. Yeah. It's called it was on February 14th, and it's called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Like I said, Robinson won the fight in the 13th round when ringside officials signaled the referee to stop the fight because of the vicious beating LaMotta was taking. But after the fight, he said he didn't knock me down. Now, I've talked about this next one all the time. This is going to be the profile for tomorrow. Is the Manassas Mauler, Jack Dempsey. And this was Jack Dempsey versus Louis Firpo. There's Dempsey on the left, Firpo on the right. Now, Louis Firpo was the first Latin American fighter to challenge for the world heavyweight title. He was from Argentina, right? And he dropped Jack Dempsey in the first round. And he knocked Jack Dempsey through the ropes, okay? And I told you Jack Dempsey got up and asked who won the fight. And they said, no, Jack, the fight's still going on. But then Jack ended up dropping Firpo 9 times and stopped him in the second round. Yeah. One of the most memorable fights of all time. No doubt. Yeah. And towards the end of the first round, Firpo hit Dempsey right on the chin, literally dropping him out of the ring. And Dempsey recovered. In the second round, he knocked Firpo down 9 times. And it ended in the first minute of the second round. And the fight had 11 knockdowns in 4 minutes. It's one of the most historic and brutal fights boxing has ever seen. Okay. Now here comes another robbery. Julio Cesar Chavez versus Meldrick Taylor. This was a fight that was stopped with 2 seconds remaining, remember? Oh, shoot. Yeah. Stop with 2 seconds remaining in the fight. This was the first fight because they fought twice. This was one. The first fight between Julio Cesar Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. It was a spectacular battle. The fight was exhilarating from the start, with Taylor landing many clean punches on Chavez, who took him like a champ. Taylor was ahead on the cards throughout the fight. And he punished Chavez for most of the fight. But Chavez was landing some good combinations too. When Taylor got in close and traded with him, right? But the fight ended in the last round. If it would have went the distance, Taylor would have won. But Chavez landed a devastating right hand with only 2 seconds left in the fight. And Richard Steele stopped the fight with 2 seconds left. Now I say, what if any kind of damage is done to a fighter, it's already done. 2 more seconds ain't gonna hurt him. So, and Taylor was a hit on all 3 cards, and Richard Steele stopped it with 2 seconds left. That was crazy, good and crazy. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more in the building. What's up, Bruce Gas? Drive safely out there, my brother. How are you today? Talking about some of the most memorable fights of all time. I was just on that one, Meldrick Taylor and Julio Cesar Chavez. Yeah. Chavez got him good in the last seconds, and Richard Steele stopped it with 2 seconds to go. And he was the referee, so Julio pulled out the win. Okay? Whether you agree or not, the referee has the final say. Okay? Next one. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns. This is the first one. Okay, because they fought twice, remember? The second one. Hearns outboxed Sugar Ray both times, but he didn't win either one of them. He got caught in the 13th round. He got caught at the end of the 13th round in the first one and didn't cover in between because it was late. At the end of the round, he didn't recover in between rounds, and Sugar Ray jumped back on him in the 14th and got him out of there. And in the second fight, I thought Hearns won it, but they called it a draw. He knocked Sugar Ray down twice, right? And you got to do a lot if you get knocked down twice to fight to a draw. And Sugar Ray did not have that kind of fight, I didn't think. But like I said, the judges called it a draw, and that's what counts, not what Cash Sports said. But anyway, let's look at it real quick. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns. This is the first one. Okay? Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns were the 2 biggest fighters at the time. And this was a very anticipated fight. And it was very even until the 6th round, when Leonard struck Hearns on the chin, leaving him stumped for the round. And it was a very intriguing fight because it started out, Sugar Ray was moving around the ring and Hearns was the stalker. But after that 6th round, when Sugar Ray caught Hearns, the roles reversed. Hearns started moving around the ring and Sugar Ray became the stalker. Things changed after that. But Hearns came back and continued to outbox Sugar Ray and was a hit on all 3 cards. Round 13 saw Sugar Ray stun Hearns with a right hand that followed by him throwing 25 punches and knocking Hearns down. And like I said, Hearns didn't recover. It was at the end of the 13th. Hearns did not recover between rounds. And round 14 was more the same. Sugar Ray jumped right on him. And Hearns was taking a serious, brutal beating until the referee stepped in and stopped it and gave it to Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. All the way down to number 4. I guess I did 21 of them. But number 4 is Big George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Big George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali. It's the next one. Now, this was the fight that Muhammad Ali got his titles back in, okay? When he lost them in 67 to the suspension and was stripped and all of that because of his religious and political beliefs. This was the fight that he got him back. Now, he got the North American NABF back, but this was the ones when he got the big ones, okay? This was the second time he became champion. And he knocked out George Foreman in what was billed as the Rumble in the Jungle. You know, they had a big concert over there. Some of the biggest R&B people from the day. The Godfather of Soul himself, James Brown, was at was the headliner. Over there in Zaire, we had B.B. King, Bill Ayers, whole bunch of R&B stars was over there. Don King flew him in, man, and did it up. Yeah. Don King, he gave events. He didn't just give fights back then. He gave events, man. Yeah. The Rumble in the Jungle. And that concert is now a movie. I forgot what the name of it was. I can't think of it. But it's a movie. It came out in the 90s. Yeah. Pretty good movie, too. I can't tell you the name of it right now. I'll look it up, though. Now, Ali was the underdog coming into the fight. But things changed in the fight. Okay. Oh, come on, man. Foreman landed some very hard punches on Ali, but that was Ali's plan all along. You know, that's when he came out with his famous rope-a-dope strategy. Corey Finks in the building. What's up, Corey Finks? Hashtag JBT. How are you today? We're talking about some of the most memorable fights in boxing history. Memorable. That's a tongue twister. Memorable. But what's up, Joey Franks? Hashtag JBT. Yeah, some of the most memorable fights in boxing history today. We are down to number 4, the Rumble in the Jungle. George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. Yeah, you're right. Sugar Ray. What Sugar you talking about? Ray or Robinson? But Sugar Ray was different. You probably talking about Sugar Ray. Yeah, he was different. Mm-hmm. He had that killer instinct in him, man. Yeah. He could box, but he also he had some pop too. Yeah, just ask Herms about that. But yeah, Ali used the rope-a-dope on Foreman, laid on the rope, and Foreman was landing some big shots on him. But that was Ali's plan. Ali waited for Foreman to get tired, and then in the 8th round, he came off of those ropes with a barrage of quick combinations that laid Foreman on the mat, and Ali got his titles back. Yeah, that was his second time becoming heavyweight champion. Second of his 3 times was that fight there. Zaire, South Africa, the Rumble in the Jungle. That's what it was built. Muhammad Ali and Big George Foreman. That was Big George Foreman's first run. You know, he had 2 careers, remember. Next is this rivalry. That's Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. Big rivalry there between those 2 guys. They went at it. This was one, right? Now, the ending of the fight was magnificent. Gatti started off better, and the end of the 3rd round was a slugfest between the 2. Gatti gets saved by the bell in the 8th round after some monster shots to the head by Mickey Ward, right? That's a great fight, man, and was the first of their trilogy. Then the last round, both fighters unleashed as many shots as they could on each other. And as soon as the final bell rang, they both fell into each other's arms. Now, Ward was declared the winner, and they ended up having 2 more fights. Yeah. Great trilogy. There's Melanin Queen 27. Salute Melanin Queen 27. Good to see you again. Memorable fights. I had 25 of them. I'm down to 24 and 25 now. And these are 2 of the best fights of all time. And they're both between the same 2 guys, by the way. Here's the first one. This one was billed the fight of the century. Yeah, this was billed the fight of the century. This was Muhammad Ali's first chance when he was fighting for a title the first time after. A big title because he had the North American Boxing Federation. But that wasn't like the WBA, WBC. Okay, you had a busy work day today, Queen? Okay. But I'm glad you're here now, and that's what counts. Appreciate the support. Yeah, Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali, the fight of the century. This was the second fight of the century because the first one was the one I talked about earlier. Also made the list was it Jack Johnson and Jess Willard? Yeah, they coerced Willard out of retirement to take the title back, but he couldn't get it done. So this was the second fight of the century right here. And this was the most anticipated fight the boxing world had ever seen. Okay? This was the first time two undefeated heavyweight fighters ever fought for a title. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. I'm back. I don't know what happened. Okay. Okay. I don't know what happened. I told you I've been having problems today, but I'm back. I am back. Uh, can somebody give me a thumbs up if everything is good, please? Can you hear? Are you on your phone? No, are you in the chat? Can you hear me? Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm back. I think had some technical difficulties, but we were on the final fight anyway. Okay, the Thriller in Manila. There we go. The Thriller in Manila. Sorry about that. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier 3. This fight was dubbed the Thriller in Manila. And this was the third fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, okay? And the series was tied up 1 apiece. Now this fight didn't have the same anticipation as the first fight. But in this fight, both fighters showed why they are legends of the sport. Now Ali started out strong again in the first few rounds. But in the middle rounds, Frazier bashed Ali with powerful body shots. Frazier started going to the body. And the last few rounds, Ali regained the momentum. Okay? And by the end of the fight, Frazier could barely see. Both his eyes were swollen shut. And Eddie Futch's trainer didn't let him come out for the last round. But, later on, Ali said he wasn't coming out for the last round either. Because he couldn't make it back out there either. Personally, after the 10th round, I don't know how either one of them continued, because it was that kind of fight. One of the greatest fights of all time, by the way, Ali Frazier. Yeah. I would say that is the greatest fight of all time. Ali Frazier 3, what a fight. Those two guys just, they just beat each other up. But there you have it. 25 of the most memorable fights of all time, okay? And tomorrow is going to be the profile. It's going to be on the Manassas Mauler, Jack Dempsey. And one day next week, we'll do the show on the history of amateurs fighting, okay? And next Friday, I think the profile is going to be on Max Bayer. And like I said, I'm going to have a special guest up here do it with me. Do the profile with me next Friday, because he has a lot of information on Max Bayer, okay? And it's going to be William Old School Durant is a special guest. So yeah, looking forward to that one. But yeah, Still got like 30 minutes of this show left. Boys coming up at 4. Hope everybody enjoyed it. 25 of the most memorable fights of all time. Yeah. I had became disconnected from the chat and everything for a minute there. Like I said, I'm on my phone. That went out on me. But it's all good now. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. I look forward to 2 o'clock every day. Cast Sports, the Box Story, bringing you all that boxing history. That's why we love it. We can't get enough of it. And the finals start tonight. Yeah. Dallas at Boston. I still haven't figured out if Porzingis is playing. If Porzingis is active, I can't see Dallas beating him. I give it to Boston anyway, with or without Porzingis. I just think they're going to be a little bit too many weapons. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I can never think of the guy's name that came from Minnesota when I need to. Who is it, Remo? If you're in here, the guy that Boston got from Minnesota this season. I think he got him right at the trade deadline. I believe. Remember? What's his name? But anyway, it starts tonight. Yeah. The NBA Finals. I'm going to do a show on next week on some of the most controversial fights of all time. Like the, remember the Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes? Both of them. When Michael Spinks went up and won the heavyweight championship, I think it was still light heavyweight championship too, but I thought Larry Holmes won both of them. Fights like that. Yeah. Those were some of the most controversial fights. That was both of those fights. Yeah. Those were some of the most controversial fights of all time there. We got Friday night boxing again. AB versus Blair Cobb. I'm going with AB. Just from the heart, you know. My heart says AB. A lot of good ideas for shows. Some of the top Mike Tyson fights. I know Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson ain't one of them. Yeah, Mike got smoked in that one. Then Don King tried to say that when Buster Douglas had been knocked down before, he got knocked out by Mike. I mean, yeah, Buster Douglas had been knocked down before he stopped Mike, and Don King tried to say that Buster Douglas got a long count. And then he tried to say that Mike got a short count when he went down, but nothing came of it. Buster was just, he was the perfect kind of heavyweight that could beat Mike, the pressure that Mike brought and everything. He was a big heavyweight, tall and big, had a good jab on him, was in great shape, great condition. That's what you needed to beat Mike back at that time, you know. That's what I always thought would be the guy that would beat Mike, and Buster did it all. But then, after that, he blew up, and they say he was almost 400 pounds, and he went in there against Holyfield and got smoked. But if Buster could have came into every fight like he did that Mike Tyson fight, he would have been a great heavyweight champion. Would have been hard to beat him, man, because he had a great jab. And he was in good condition. He was a big guy. He had a good chin on him. Had all the ingredients to be a good heavyweight, but just didn't have the discipline, you know. The mental, you gotta have that. That's key. Then I heard that, yeah, Buster blew up to like 400 pounds in between fights, and he was nowhere near the Buster Douglas when he fought Holyfield. Nowhere near the same Buster Douglas that beat Mike Tyson. No way. Yeah. And then Mike was said that he didn't train properly, took Buster lightly. Buster was a 40-1 underdog coming into it, remember? So yeah, the word was that Mike took him lightly and, didn't take the thing seriously. And he paid for it. Yep. He paid for it. Yeah, lost his title. And then it all started going downhill from there. Went to that beauty contest. And of course, like I always said, if Cus D'Amato was still around, none of that would have happened. He would have been in tip-top shape for the Buster Douglas fight. It would have been like a 40-1 favorite. The Buster Bartlett would have been one of those first or second round knockouts. And as far as going to jail for that rape charge, he would have never even been at that beauty contest if Cus D'Amato was alive. Mike wouldn't even have been there. No. Then the woman went to his room 2 o'clock in the morning. What woman just meets a man and goes to his hotel room 2 o'clock in the morning? For what? It was Mike Tyson, and she went to get a suitcase. That's what she went up there for. Yeah. But that's what not. Mike thought she went up there, to have some fun. Right? 2 o'clock in the morning. I just met you. You going to my hotel room with me? Yeah. It's time to throw down. That's what Mike thought. Let's keep it 100. But she went up there to get some money, a suitcase. And I guess she got it. He was found guilty of rape or whatever and got 3, I don't know, what was it, attempted rape or something? He only got 3 years. I don't know how much he got, but he did a little less than 3 years. Yeah. So she had to get some kind of coins out of it, So she got what she wanted. Yeah. But like I said, if Cus D'Amato was still around, Mike wouldn't even been nowhere near that beauty contest. He would have been somewhere resting from training that day. But by that time, Don King had his hooks in it. And they said when Mike was released from prison, Don King was the one that picked him up. Like, come on, Mike, let's go resume making this money. Yeah. And Don is still doing it. Got a card tomorrow, as a matter of fact, remember? Yep. Oh, Don got a card tomorrow. And I was watching him on the Boxing Mania podcast. Like I was saying in the beginning, to get over and subscribe to the Boxing Mania podcast plus. You might have subscribed to him before, but he had to start a new channel. So you might have to resubscribe and check out some of his shows. He came on 10 o'clock last night. I believe it was 10 o'clock. Very good show. He was showing the press conference. Don King was up there using his big words. You listen to Don talk, you got to have a dictionary right there beside you. And half the words he say you will not find in the dictionary, so probably a waste of time having a dictionary there. Talking about exclamatory and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it was 14 fights on the card, but a few of them was canceled because from last night. A few of them they're not going to have, so it's still at least 10 fights. But where's that? What network? What is it on? What is that card on? ESPN, DAZN, Showtime, Amazon Prime. What is it on? Where do you watch it at? The Don King card. YouTube? I have no idea where to watch that card at. I have no idea. I'll find out about tomorrow night. We got The Voice coming up in about 15 minutes. Tomorrow is the profile day. Jack Dempsey, the Manassas Mauler. Ladies' man, one of the big five of the 1920s, big five of sports. the most popular of the big five. Really made boxing popular in the 1920s. That's when it started becoming popular, around the 20s, when the rules had just been changed. You know, the no decision era was ended. 15 rounds was put in, you know, because before that, remember I just told you about the fight when 110 rounds started on Thursday, ended on Friday. You know, the referee got hungry and ended it. I don't know why he ended it, but that might have been it. The referee might have got hungry, man. Like, come on now. Neither one of them would go down, and they just kept fighting. So the referee said, that's it. This is a draw, man. 110 rounds. And that was it. So that's, you know, just before the 20s, that was when the 15 rounds were put in it. And that no decision era ended. You know, that nonsense of 75, 100 rounds, all that was ended at that point. Okay. And that was around the time when Jack Dempsey came in, and the sport started becoming real popular. Okay. Jack Dempsey was a popular guy, you know. Ladies, man, mingled with the Hollywood starlets, married a couple of them, fought hard in the ring and played hard outside it. But we're going to go into it a lot deeper tomorrow. Find out about the Manassas baller. He was homeless early in his life, you know, was a hobo. Slept on boxcars, on trains and stuff. Jack Dempsey. Yeah. They suspected him of throwing a fight against Gene Tunney. I think it was 1926. Called it the long count fight. He knocked Gene Tunney down, but he wouldn't go to the neutral corner, so the referee didn't start counting. And then by the time he went to the neutral corner, Gene Tunney got up. But if the referee had started to, if Jack had went to the neutral corner and the referee started to count, Gene Tunney still probably would have beat it because, you know, the referee wasn't counting. So why get up? Stay down there and get as much recuperation time as you can. So the referee starts counting like he normally would have. Maybe he gets up, you know? Yeah. So, but yeah, they suspected Jack of throwing that fight. And then he was also in a fight that bankrupted a town. I forgot who he was fighting. I think it might have been George Carpenter. And they had promised to pay him so much that the town didn't even have all the money to pay him. And they went bankrupt trying to pay the fighters. Some little small town, they still probably never had no business hosting a fight. Yeah, but the town went bankrupt trying to pay Jack Dempsey. And I forgot who he was fighting. It might have been George Carpenter. Yeah. Jack Dempsey. Storied career. And you're going to find out about it tomorrow. Let me stop before I tell the whole profile right now. But Cash Sports, the box story. You get all the boxing history over here. Yep. I love history. Not just boxing history. I've always been a history person. Even when I was young. See things going on. I want to know why. How did it start? And all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Who was the first one to do it? You know? And then I came to love boxing. So, of course, I want to go back and look at where that came from. Yeah. I done been as far back as like 688 BC was around the time it started. And probably before that. But that was the first time it was in the ancient Olympics, 688 BC, and they can trace it back then. Historians and they might have had a box historian with them. Who knows? No, I'm the first box historian. I don't think it was a box historian back there with them. But they dug up things that, you know, and they have ways, and they indicated that boxing was at the 688 BC Olympics. Yeah. I don't know how they do it, but, you know, they dug up certain things. Might have been a box historian with them. Who knows? Was it T. Hill? T. Hill would know, you know. Yeah. And then come forward. But back then, man, those Romans, they would sew metal into the gloves, spikes. And guess what? A lot of them fights back in the Roman era, around 688 BC them times, was a fight to the death. The winner was the one that walked out of the arena alive, okay? A lot of times the loser was bagged up and carried out of the arena, dead. Because like I said, they had spikes and metal. I did a show on that, metal sewn into the gloves and all kinds of stuff, man. I would have gotten the ring and saw that stuff on the glove, turned right back around and went right back down the steps. You know, you only have to pay me. I'm not getting in there with that. It's not that serious. But yeah, that's how they did it back in them days, man. Fight to the death. And that's how those people were, and the bloodthirsty. Yeah. But then it started evolving coming forward. But the glove era didn't start until 1889, though. Up until then. And he was part of this, I forgot his name already, but the same guy that I can tell you his name is written down right there, Cass. What's in your notes, dummy? Hey, look at your notes, Cass. But the same guy that was the last bare knuckles champion, John L. Sullivan, he was the first glove champion, okay? Yeah. It was either John L. Sullivan or James J. Corbett, one of those two. I can't remember for certain, but the same guy that was the last bare knuckles champion was the gloves champion, because James J. Corbett and John L. Sullivan had a fight in 1892. I think it was John L. Sullivan, because he had the championship. He lost it to James J. Corbett in 1892, so that makes sense. 1889 was the end of the bare knuckles era, and John L. Sullivan was the last bare knuckles champion and the first glove champion. Okay, so that's when they started wearing gloves in 1889. But still, we had the no decision, and it was a fight not to the death anymore, but until somebody couldn't continue. As long as the man kept, and the round would end when somebody was knocked down, but as long as the man kept getting up, the fight would go on. Okay, until around 1921 or something like that. They stepped in there and stopped that. Yeah. Boxing had got outlawed for a little while in there too. Between around 1900 to like 1919, somewhere around in there, yeah. In certain states. But the western states, you could still go out there and fight. Yeah. But they brought it back. And it is what it is today. The greatest sport of them all. Remember? That's why we love it and can't get enough of it. Yeah. We got the face of boxing going into fight week in a couple of days. Unbelievable that that's here already. And people making a big deal out of Earl saying he thinks Frank's going to win. That's his fighter. What the hell is he supposed to say? Oh, my fighter's going to lose? So I don't know why people making a big deal out of him saying that. It's his fighter. What is he supposed to say? Right? Wouldn't you expect Earl to say Frank's going to win? That's his man. People are, Earl said Frank's going to win. Duh. What is he supposed to say? I can't get over that, man. Right? If you got a fighter out there that's fighting, are you going to say you're going to lose? Of course. What's your fighter going to think about you? That's my promoter. He's going around saying I'm going to lose? Even if Earl really feels Tank will beat him, he's supposed to say Frank's going to win. He promotes the guy. Come on, man. Do you ever hear Bob Father running around saying Loma's going to lose? No. So that's not a big deal, Earl saying Frank's going to win. He's his promoter. He's supposed to say that, man. Come on. Stop it. Come on, man. And, man, just briefly, these Devin Haney fans, man, they going on everybody's platforms crying, still crying about the Ryan cheating thing. Stop it, man. People trying to hear boxing talk. They're not trying to hear a bunch of crybabies running around crying all the time. And they coming into the JBT. Every time I go into a JBT, they up on the panel crying about Ryan, man. People I ain't gonna say no names, but people I thought were hardcore are crybaby fanboys, man. Get over it. The man got his ass beat. Get over it. God damn, they was in Casual Corner this morning crying. 3 of them. I had to leave. Sheesh. Like Bare Knuckles said, sheesh. Get over it, man. God damn, they was in the hangout crying the other day. I had to go up on the panel and lean on them. Stop it. Just stop it. It's too much, man. But they don't want to hear about Devin Haney fighting at 140, like 3 weight classes above it. They don't want to hear that. Fanboys. He made the contract weight. Get the hell out of here. But yeah, we got the boys coming up in a couple minutes. Appreciate everybody rocking with me today. You probably won't see none of them fanboys in here because they know what I'm going to do to them. I'm going to run them right out the door. Don't come over here with that crying. I don't tolerate it. That fanboy shit will not be tolerated on Cat Sport. This is a serious boxing channel, man. Knowledgeable, professional boxing fans allowed only. Okay? Melanin Queen 27. Horry Faints, hashtag JBT. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Freestyle Media Sports. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Appreciate your RP. D for the win. Let's Talk Fashion, aka Remo, hashtag JBT. J Hardcore, hashtag JBT. Just Do Boxing, the voice, coming up in a couple minutes. Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, the Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. Anybody not subscribed, get over there. Please get over there and subscribe to that brother's channel. Fire content. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. And all these names I just said, those are the type of boxing fans that's welcome here. No crybaby fanboys, please. Stay away. Don't want you or need you. But everybody have a great day. Appreciate you rocking with me once again. The voice, straight ahead. Don't forget tomorrow is the Manassas Mauler, the Jack Dempsey profile. Don't miss it. It should be a good one. But everybody have a great day. Cast Sports.